Welcome to the ultimate challenge in Black Desert. If you've been here before, you know me as the Black Desert Iron Man guy. We have been playing the game as an Iron Man. I started a fresh account where the Central Market was completely off limits. And we've built up nearly 700 gear score without the use of the Central Market at all. It may surprise you to know that the Black Desert Iron Man was always a proof of concept for me. It was never the final goal. It was never the end game challenge for me. I had always planned to go to 700 gear score. If it felt good, I was going to start something else. This is that something else. This is the craziest challenge Black Desert has ever seen. It will be an Iron Man challenge. So the Central Market, once again, is completely off limits. However, it will be an ultimate Iron Man. So in addition to the Central Market being completely off limits, all town storages will be completely off limits. This means no workers. This means everything that I own has to fit on my character. This means I can't stack up 18,000 Blackstones because they're going to be too heavy. This means we're going to throw away things that we need to make room for the things that we need now. The goal of this challenge will also be far beyond the goal of the previous challenge. I don't intend to stop at 700 gear score. I want to push the absolute limits of this game as an Ultimate Iron Man. Some things will not be possible. Several of the adventure logs, for example, require you to craft items in a workshop in a town. This requires workers that only pull materials from storage. So these adventure logs will be incompletable. To increase the pain, I also won't be allowed to use codes that the game gives out. No Twitch drops, no login rewards, no Black Spirit safe, no challenge tab. This means no free Kaposhas. I will be choosing my main class for this series, but it's going to be a class that I'm not very familiar with. And one that I think will fit all the bills. It sort of does well early game, and it can do well later game, which is really what you need in this sort of challenge. I'm quite unfamiliar with it though, so if later on down the line I end up disliking this class, in order to roll off of this class, I will have to completely generate new weapons from scratch. So we're really incentivized to absolutely stick with it. There will be no access to reroll coupons. I also plan to randomize my tag class once a month. This is a concept that we used in the previous Iron Man challenge. It's something that I enjoyed. It's something that the viewers have enjoyed. So I plan to continue with this. Perhaps not right away, as tagging in the really early game gets a little bit complicated. But I will be limited to 192 inventory slots from all sources, which means the main class and the tag class. So we will need to look into what adventure logs are doable and which ones aren't, and which ones give us inventory slots and which ones don't. So that will play a huge role. Tag classes that are inactive cannot have items on them, and I can't use them for any reason. No energy, nothing. They're just going to sit there. The only way for me to transfer items is going to be through the use of storage maids, as you can transfer directly from one character to another. Items cannot go into a storage to transfer them, which means that if an item cannot be transferred with a storage maid, such as the archaeologist map or the compass, if they end up on a tag class, they will have to be deleted. Everything that cannot be removed from the tag class when it comes time to roll a new tag class, with the exception of a costume, must be deleted. I also will not be allowed to melt costumes in this challenge. The reason for that is because I don't intend for this challenge to be free to play. I will have tier 4 pets. I will have a tent. I'll be able to buy an outfit if I so choose, though I will never be allowed to melt it. I really want to shy away from the things that are going to benefit the challenge. I won't be buying packages that offer tons of artisans and memory fragments and all that stuff. I've never been interested in that in a normal account anyway, and we're going to steer clear of it on this one. Though what gets purchased and what doesn't will mostly be up to my discretion. I will be able to stack trash loot on a horse. If I didn't allow that, realistically, we wouldn't be spending very much time grinding before we had to run back to town, and it just wouldn't be very interesting as a series. Allowing horse stacking at least lets me get through an hour somewhere. However, if that horse gets checked in with that trash loot, then it has to be deleted. And no other items can be stored on a horse at any time. This means no wagons with a bunch of items on them checked in, none of that stuff. There are currently only 2 exceptions to these rules, as posted. The first exception is that loot scrolls from the challenge tab, specifically the ones from the daily value pack reward, I will be allowed to take. If there are loot scrolls in there for other reasons, such as events that are happening or login stuff, those will be totally off limits. Only the loot scrolls from the value pack as a value pack benefit will be allowed, as these are a benefit to something that you purchase, so it doesn't make any sense to restrict them. So I'll be taking those. The other exception is that as a Pearl Abyss partner, I get mailed once a month a value pack, a Camo Blessing, and an Old Moon Scroll. These are things I'm going to be running anyway, and it really doesn't make sense for me to have to buy these things just for the sake of the challenge. So we'll make an exception that I'm allowed to take those out of the mail. Nothing else will be allowed to come out of the mail. If they take my compass and they delete it and then they mail it back to me in the mail, cannot take it. I guess I have to grind a new compass. Doesn't matter what it is. They could mail me a Pen Black Star. I can't take it. The only potential third option, which I don't think is necessary, but I promised I would at least ask your opinion on, is for the live streams. One of the major issues we had in the first challenge when starting out was that our horse was really terrible. So it meant that the live streams was a lot of just traveling around on a horse because it was so slow. So the potential exception that I will have you vote on, there will be a link down in the description below for a straw poll, is whether or not I should make an exception to take the Vepico's horse flute and get a T9 horse. I don't know if it's super necessary anymore, especially with the changes to the Magnus, but it doesn't really help the challenge in any way. All it does is cut down on travel time for the stream. So be sure to go down in the description and vote on whether or not you'd like to see that used, or if I should continue to not allow it as an exception. Well, I don't think it's necessary. If the majority of you agree that I should use it, then fair enough. Let's do it. Be sure to like and subscribe, and let me know your thoughts on the challenge down below.